Hi, friends. This is Molly Shar. I use she, her pronouns. I'm the founder of the Worthiest Project, and you're listening to the Worthiest Podcast, the show that reminds you that you're not broken and you're not alone. Today, we're talking about community. I love this topic. There are so many different ways to look at community, and I have a very special announcement related to community to share with y'all. I'm super excited. I'm going to hold it to the end, so I hope you will stick around to hear it. Communities have always been important. Being part of a community is central to the human experience. While in the past, communities were formed almost exclusively around physical proximity, we're now able to form communities around all sorts of shared interests or characteristics, professional associations, volunteerism, and much more. The basic truth is that humans aren't meant to be alone all the time. We are meant to be alone some of the time. But really, we do best when we cycle back and forth between being by ourselves and being with other people. The ratio and timing of that is different for everyone. We often think of people who are extroverted as wanting to be around people more, and people who are introverted as wanting to be around people less. But it's not quite as simple as that. People who are extroverted do tend to draw energy from interactions with other people, while people who are introverted tend to recharge away from other people. But there are also different types of ways of interacting with people that can be more or less energizing and fulfilling. Think the difference between a big party and having tea with one friend, or a busy online space versus a more intimate private group. Communities are definitely not one size fits all. And it's important to note that while we often use the word community to mean a group of people in one space, whether that's online or in person or a combination of the two, for people to form a true community, the elements of trust, connection, and mutual care have to be in place. I think about community a lot because it's what the Worthiest Project is intentionally built around. For me, community feels like home. It's where you recognize your fellow community members as my people, where you can be vulnerable and be supported and feel safe. It gives you a deep sense of belonging. Social connection has a huge impact on our health. Some of the early research on the effects of the pandemic show an alarming rate of loneliness as a result of the disruption to social connections. Without strong social connections, people are more stressed out, have higher rates of inflammation, and are at greater risk of suicide and early death. Research links a lack of connectedness with conditions like high blood pressure, heart disease, cancer, and immune disorders. And certainly, social connectedness or a lack of social connectedness impacts our emotional well-being. Feeling like we are part of something bigger can help give meaning to our lives. Finding others with the same values, interests, and worldviews makes us realize we're not alone and makes us feel seen. Communities are support networks. There is no better place to navigate our lives and to process the world changing around us and how it impacts us than to do it within a supportive community. It gives context to what's going on and helps us feel like we're not alone. Sometimes we may look for advice, but other times we just need for community members to witness us and validate our feelings. And supporting others gives us a boost because we feel needed, helpful, and valued. Though built around common interests, communities aren't homogenous. So we learn from others with different views, experiences, and beliefs. These different perspectives can be extremely valuable as we're navigating through our lives. They help us grow. Developing community bonds allows us to practice acceptance, which importantly is not the same thing as agreement, but acceptance. We also build self-acceptance by experiencing times when we are strong and times we are vulnerable. Belonging to a group or community we identify with helps us develop a stronger sense of personal and collective identity. Sharing activities, ideas, and feelings reinforces not only our sense of self, but also adds worth and value to the community, leading to higher engagement, positive emotions, and feeling empowered, which then leads to a greater sense of control in our lives. Experiencing the positive influence of like-minded people can help us take better care of ourselves. Communities can influence and motivate us to invest in our well-being and to foster positive changes. This is why a community is such an effective way to build new practices and get results and transformation. As a member of a community, you're also plugging into something bigger than yourself. Communities can create change within and also externally. Together, we can build awareness and advocate for changes for things we're passionate about. There's strength and safety and momentum in numbers. I love this quote from Margaret Mead. Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has. Another aspect of community for us to consider is the concept of community care. Using our power, privilege, and resources to better the people who are both in and out of our scope of reach. And this could be a friend, neighbor, colleague, or fellow member of an organization. And it can look like activism, practicing anti-racism, calling out injustices, financially supporting organizations doing good work, or simply asking someone, what do you need and how can I help you? It can also look like you receiving help from your community. There is no doubt that COVID has been especially detrimental to the communities and relationships we've spent years building. And on the flip side, plugging into communities online is easier than ever because of social media, private community platforms, and the technology for video meetings that has become ubiquitous. Which is a good segue into my announcement. I'm incredibly excited to share with you that the doors are now open to join the Worthiest Incubator as a founding member. So this is a membership program that will not be open to the public until sometime in September, but we are opening the doors now for a limited number of founding members. I'm so excited about this membership. There is nothing out there like it. I honestly don't think it would be going too far to call it magical. Certainly life-changing. It is the community I've always dreamed of, and you can be a part of it. Oh, and a really important piece of information. The doors will close on July 31st. That's just a few days away. After that, you'll have to wait until we launch to the public in September at the full price. So if this is something that piques your interest, I invite you to consider jumping in with us right now. I'll be back here next week, friend. I'm Molly Shar, and this is the Worthiest Podcast.